Hi, this is a shop tip for making picture frames. I'm not going to get into making this would be the same as a cross-cut sled, but I've got it cut for a 45. You can cut your frames on a miter saw and get it at a 45, but I've always found the hardest part on making the frame is you need the inside dimensions where the picture or the glass is going to go. So once you've got this set up and screwed down to a exact 45, you can cut you a block that is the opposite side of the 45. Now you're going to want to cut your dados first on your wood. I make mine real deep because I'm a laser engraver and I do multiple layers of wood for a map. But if you'll cut your dado to fit this, so if you'll save you an extra block of wood, and when you measure your height of your dado, get it to that height so you don't really have any rock. Then once you've cut that end of the 45, when you bring it over here, you're able to mark. Like if I needed a 14-inch frame and I've already got it marked, or 16.5 or an 8x10, then your measurement is from right there to your cut. And if you clamp this down and if you cut your two long sides first, without moving this block, then exactly, not only do your angles need to be at a 45, but your pieces need to be exact the same length. So this will help you do both. It'll help you cut it exactly 45, but it'll also, the big benefit is going to help you cut both your lengths at the same time, or the same length. So once you've cut those two boards, then you can move your block around, and like you say right here, I've got a 14. I'm going to put that right there at a 14. I'm going to clamp it down, and then I'm going to cut my 14-inch grooves. Now with all that being said, occasionally I get a little bit off on my dado, where my dado might be a little thicker or maybe a little thinner, and I've got a little rock. Well, then you can just take you a piece of thin wood and use to keep it off the surface, and once it's clamped down, if it's long enough to get past the clamp joint, it won't rock. So like right now, I've got a little extra space, but my wood is still on the bottom, so it won't rock, because that's important, because you don't want that angle to occur either. And also, to continue the video, when you're making a cross-cut sled or this picture frame sled, you want to use these, and you can get them anywhere. You can get them at Woodcraft. These are adjustable rails, so you can take out the snugness. So when I make mine, I have a cross-cut saw too. I've drilled holes into my top of my sled so I can adjust the Allen wrench. I keep an Allen wrench right there, so I can take out a little bit of that wobble. Now with anything, safety is to me the utmost important. So I've glued a big block of wood here, and my hand grip's back here. So never will I haven't even started cutting through this block of wood, but my hand is way away from the blade. So your hand is over here, maybe holding down your piece that's clamped down, and your hand is 10 inches away from the blade. So put you a big stop block and maybe a handle. You wouldn't really have to have a handle. You could just push it. But I found this makes it easier to pick up my sled and move it out of the way. And there's plenty of videos on how to make a cross-cut sled. So I'm not going to get into that, but you want it square. You line these down, and basically you're going to just tape it off and screw your deal in before you make your cut. And then once you've made your cut, it's parallel to your runners. Now this is the only tricky part, is getting this at a 45, but a couple of tests, and if you put one screw down and then pivot it a little bit, you'll get to a perfect 45.